While the Genesis Coupe is an amazing value sports car, there are a few problems with the build quality of this car, in my experience owning this car over the last 12 months. The first thing I noticed when I got the car was that the steering wheel immediately started fading to the point where the leather particles at the top actually started to peel off into my hands. Just a point of reference, I don't use any hand cream or anything like that, so there wouldn't be anything outside of just, washing my hands normally that may have caused this. I don't use any gloves or anything like that while driving, just my pure hands. So it was to my surprise when I started noticing, when I lifted my hand off the wheel, I started getting little black leather particles in my hand. I wasn't quite sure what it was. Over the course of, 3 to 4 months, I actually noticed that it started fading to the point where just the front portion of it was just completely bare. All the leather had just come off. And this took about, 6 to 7 months just developing, and after around 7-8 months, it was completely like the picture shown right now. Obviously, that's not how a steering wheel should look. So I took it to the local Hyundai dealership, and they actually told me that it's just a wear part and that it's quite normal, but it's not something covered under Hyundai's warranty. I started to question that, thinking that, hey, what kind of warranty is that? It's just like, buying a TV, which comes with a 1-year warranty, and if a pixel breaks over the course of 6 months, they tell me that, oh, sorry, that pixel's not covered under the warranty. This is definitely a warranty issue. It wasn't something that I had done to the car. It was just, something that happened with the steering wheel, either a quality control issue or something that, it happens over time. What the dealership made it sound like was that this is actually something that happens to many vehicles, and they deny it. So instead of trying to go and find my own steering wheel and going to replace it, I took it to another dealership. Upon arriving there, they investigated, and they said, hey, look, yeah, this happens often to some of the Hyundai vehicles. What we're going to do is we're just going to replace it free under warranty. So that right there, the two different dealership experiences, is something that comes to mind as a quality issue, along with obviously the steering wheel. The second thing I noticed was that also the shift knob had the same kind of peeling effect, however to a lesser extent. So I also took it to the second dealership, and they replaced that also under warranty at the same time. Right now it has a brand new shifter as well as a brand new steering wheel. And what I noticed immediately was that the leather material used on these two new products seemed to be much more upscale and feel very high quality and not cheap like the other ones do. So what I believe they've done is they just completely scratched the old material and just went with a brand new leather. So kudos to them for doing it. It just shouldn't have happened in the first place. So I'm glad they've recognized it and fixed it, but in my experience, it just wasn't great having to go deal with two different dealers, wasting my time in the first one, and then finally being able to resolve it in the second. The other thing I noticed was that the dash on this car, along the vents, has actually started to bubble up in two different places. So this is a problem, again, when you look on the Genesis forums. It's more rare, however it does happen. It's kind of similar to what happens with the Ferrari 360s and their vents actually just bubbling up. Apparently the leather just can't handle some of the daylight and gets damaged and starts to bubble. So I have an appointment as well on Tuesday to get that resolved and hopefully replace the dash. The other and most dramatic thing that this car is kind of littered with, like if you go on the forums and type in Genesis Coupe manual transmission issues, you will find hundreds of thousands of different posts, or not hundreds of thousands, there's thousands of posts talking about, hey, listen, my transmission's notchy, or my transmission doesn't shift into gear 4, or my transmission doesn't shift into X gear, or I had a tranny failure, things of that nature. And Hyundai's done a good job over the course of 7 years that the car has been out resolving those issues. However, they still actually exist. Less so now than in the BK ones, from 2010 to 2012. They completely changed some of the transmission parts in 2013 and onward to try and resolve and resurrect all those issues. However, those issues still kind of linger. So in mine, I actually have a problem where I go to 1 to 2. Let's say I'm launching the car, I'm going for a really quick shift. Occasionally, and at random, it will completely just lock you out of second gear, and you'll just grind that out. It's the worst sound ever, and the worst feeling ever. It doesn't matter where your clutch pickup point is, where you let go of the clutch. It happens when you're close to redline, shifting from 1 to 2 quickly. Most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time, it doesn't, no problem. However, there's 20% of the time where you'll just completely grind that gear. So let's say, for example, you're in Mexico, you're trying to go for a quick 1 to 2 shift from a dig or whatever the case may be. It just completely sucks grinding your gear. Not only you look like you're an idiot and don't know how to drive a manual, but, you know, it's bad for the transmission as well. Not to mention you lose. The other problem with this car, and something I can actually demonstrate right now, because this actually happens every single time, is going into gear 6 at an RPM above 35 to 4,000 RPMs. The higher it is in the rev range, the worse the sound's gonna be. So it's I don't know what it is. Apparently it's just another one of these transmission issues. My car unfortunately has it, and it's supposed to just get replaced under warranty. So I'm at 4,000 RPMs now, and I'll shift into gear 6. So fair warning, if you don't want to hear the grind sound, turn that volume down. But here it goes. The worst sound ever. And it doesn't matter from which gear you actually, try and go to. You can go from 2 to 6, it'll make the same grind. 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. As long as your RPMs are higher than 3,500, it'll still make that sound. The closer they are to 3,500, the less sound it makes. So the higher you are, if you're trying to go from whatever gear at 6,000 RPMs to 6, it'll be much longer. And apparently it's just transmission flaw again, another one of the transmission flaws in this car, and Hyundai is just going to replace it under warranty. So again, at the same time I'm getting the dash looked at, I'm getting this looked at, and I've already taken it in, and they've already told me, hey listen, yeah, it's a transmission problem. Well, I'm most likely going to have to replace the transmission. So I hope with my new transmission I don't have the 1 to 2 shift lock thing anymore, but that's to be seen. These issues really shouldn't happen, and I think they're just quality control issues or just an oversight on Hyundai's part. And people have tried to replace the transmission fluid, replace the clutch fluid, and do all sorts of different things in order to resolve all these issues, but none of them really help. It's something to do with the transmission, and only Hyundai is able to replace the transmission to fix it. Some of the stuff makes it a little bit better, makes the notchiness go away or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't completely resurrect the problem. And my issue with that is that why does the end user have to go about trying to resolve all these issues when they're buying a brand new car, which really shouldn't come with any of these issues? To learn more about some of the issues that I've had with this car and things I don't like about this car, I've actually made a top 5 things I hate about the Genesis Coupe. Look forward to seeing that video in the next 3 to 5 days. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you had a nice day. Thanks. Bye-bye.